Tonight, while you're asleep, your face will become active, not because of you, because of something that has been waiting all day for darkness. As the lights go out, most likely since you were a teenager, they don't appear during the day. They avoid sunlight. They spend the night crawling across your face, looking for mates, feeding, and returning to the tiny openings in your skin before morning. You won't feel them. You won't see them. Most people live their entire lives without ever realizing they're there. But almost every adult watching this video is carrying them right now. Not one, not 10, sometimes hundreds. Welcome to Hidden Nature. Today we're exploring one of the strangest ecosystems on Earth. Not in a rainforest, not in the ocean, but on your own skin. And by the end of this video, you'll understand something even stranger. These tiny animals may not be your enemies at all. In fact, your skin may actually need them. Before we go any further, let's clear up the first reaction almost everyone has. This is not a sign that your face is dirty. It doesn't mean you don't wash enough. It doesn't mean there's something wrong with your skin. These creatures live on dermatologists. They live on newborn parents. They live on movie stars. They live on people who spend hundreds of dollars every month on skincare. Researchers estimate that by adulthood, the overwhelming majority of humans carry them. Some studies suggest the number approaches 100% in older adults. For decades, scientists believed these tiny animals were parasites, something unwanted, something harmful. But over the last several years, that picture has begun to change. Researchers are starting to think we may have misunderstood them. Not because they don't sometimes cause problems. They can. Especially when their numbers become unusually high or when the immune system is disrupted. But under normal conditions, they appear to be simply part of the ecosystem that makes up healthy human skin. And the deeper scientists look, the stranger the story becomes. Because these creatures have been evolving beside humans for so long, that they may actually be losing the ability to survive anywhere else. They don't simply live on humans. They may now belong to us. So, what exactly are these tiny animals doing while you sleep? Their name is Demodex. They're microscopic mites, relatives of spiders and ticks. But unlike their larger cousins, they have evolved to spend almost their entire lives on a single host, you. During the day, they stay hidden. Each mite lives deep inside one of your hair follicles or sebaceous glands, surrounded by the natural oils your skin produces. That's their home. That's where they spend most of their lives. Darkness changes everything. Researchers have observed that Demodex become active at night. As light levels fall, they slowly climb out of the pores where they've been hiding all day. Their tiny bodies, less than half a millimeter long, move at a speed of only a few millimeters each hour. To us, that's almost motionless. To them, it's a nightly journey. Across your forehead, along your cheeks, around your eyelashes, across your nose. Their goal isn't to explore your face, it's to find each other. Mating happens almost exclusively at night, on the surface of the skin. By sunrise, the adults retreat back into the follicles before daylight returns. Scientists still don't fully understand why they avoid light so consistently. One possibility is simple survival. Ultraviolet radiation damages tiny organisms far more quickly than larger animals. Another possibility is that nighttime simply offers a safer environment, less disturbance from washing, touching your face, or exposure to sunlight. Whatever the reason, your face changes after dark. What looks completely still in the mirror is, under magnification, an active landscape. Tiny animals emerging from hidden tunnels, meeting, reproducing, then disappearing before you wake up. And they've probably repeated that routine every single night for years. But here's the part almost nobody knows. For a long time, scientists believed these mites were simply taking advantage of us. Now they're beginning to wonder whether we've been helping each other all along. Calling Demodex a parasite may no longer tell the whole story. Yes, under certain conditions, Large populations of these mites are associated with skin disorders such as rosacea, blepharitis, and irritation around the eyelids. Dermatologists know that when their numbers become unusually high, they can contribute to inflammation. But that's only part of the picture. Most people who carry Demodex never experience any symptoms at all. Their skin remains perfectly healthy, which raises an obvious question. If these mites are truly harmful, why do almost all adults have them? Researchers have begun looking at a different possibility. Instead of asking how these mites hurt us, they're asking whether they might actually be part of a healthy skin ecosystem. Demodex feed primarily on sebum, the oily substance your skin naturally produces. Sebum is essential for protecting your skin, but when it accumulates excessively, it can change the environment inside pores. Scientists are still investigating whether the mites help regulate this microscopic environment by consuming some of that excess material. The evidence is still developing. No serious researcher would claim that Demodex are good or necessary. But the old idea that they're simply unwanted parasites is becoming increasingly difficult to defend. And then researchers made an even stranger discovery. After living alongside humans for millions of years, these tiny animals appear to be changing. Genetic studies suggest that Demodex have lost genes that many of their free-living relatives still possess. They're becoming simpler, more specialized, more dependent. Some evolutionary biologists have proposed something extraordinary. These mites may be evolving away from independent life altogether. In other words, they may be becoming permanent companions of humans, not visitors, not invaders, but organisms whose future is now inseparable from ours, which means that every night, while you sleep, you're not simply sharing your skin with wildlife, you're sharing it with a species that may no longer know how to exist anywhere else. By now, you might be wondering something important. If these mites live on almost every adult human, why don't we all have skin disease? The answer is surprisingly reassuring. Most of the time, your relationship with them is perfectly balanced. Your immune system keeps their population under control. Your skin keeps renewing itself. The mites continue eating dead skin and excess oil, and neither of you notices the other. For millions of people, this silent partnership lasts an entire lifetime. But sometimes, the balance changes. As we get older, our skin produces different amounts of oil. Periods of chronic stress can alter the skin's immune defenses. Certain medical conditions weaken the body's ability to regulate microorganisms that normally live harmlessly on the skin. And when that happens, the mite population can grow far beyond its usual level. Doctors call this demodicosis. One of its most common forms affects the eyelids. If you've ever woken up with itchy eyelids, burning eyes, crusts collecting around the base of your eyelashes, or eyes that constantly feel dry, irritated, or gritty, the cause isn't always allergies, and it isn't always dry eye syndrome. In many cases, ophthalmologists diagnose a condition called Demodex blepharitis, inflammation of the eyelids associated with an overgrowth of Demodex mites living inside the eyelash follicles. Recent clinical studies have found that a remarkably high percentage of patients with chronic blepharitis carry unusually large populations of these microscopic mites. The mites themselves are not attacking you. The problem is what happens when there are simply too many of them. Their bodies, their waste, the bacteria they naturally carry on their surface. Together, they can trigger chronic inflammation that leaves the eyelids red, irritated, and uncomfortable for months, or even years, if the underlying cause isn't recognized. Because the mites are invisible, many people spend years treating the symptoms instead of the source. Artificial tears, anti-allergy drops, creams, even repeated courses of antibiotics. Sometimes they help, sometimes they don't, because no one thought to look for something living quietly at the base of the eyelashes. The hidden world on your skin is usually harmless, but every ecosystem has a balance, and when that balance shifts, even the smallest creatures can begin making themselves known. By now, You might be wondering whether you should try to get rid of them. The answer from dermatologists is surprisingly simple. Probably not. If your skin is healthy, there is no evidence that trying to eliminate Demodex provides any benefit. Most people carrying them will never know they're there, and they'll never have a reason to. If you do have persistent rosacea, chronic eyelid irritation, or recurring inflammation, the goal isn't to wage war against every mite. It's to treat the underlying condition with the guidance of a dermatologist. In some cases, doctors prescribe medications that reduce Demodex populations, but only because the normal balance has already been disrupted. For everyone else, the best approach is remarkably ordinary. Wash your face gently, remove makeup before sleeping, keep your skin barrier healthy. And remember, healthy skin is not sterile skin, it's alive, covered by billions of bacteria, millions of fungi, viruses, and tiny animals that have shared your body for almost your entire life. The more scientists study human skin, the more they discover that health isn't defined by the absence of life. It's defined by the right life, living in the right balance. Tonight, you'll wash your face, you'll brush your teeth, you'll turn off the lights, and lay your head on your pillow. Your bedroom will look exactly as it did yesterday. Nothing around you will seem different. But something has changed. You now know that your skin is not simply a surface. It's an ecosystem, a place where billions of microscopic organisms live side by side. Bacteria, fungi, viruses, and tiny animals that have shared your body for almost your entire adult life. For centuries, humans imagined that the boundary between ourselves and nature was our skin. Science has revealed something much stranger. Nature didn't stop at your skin. It quietly crossed that boundary long ago. The tiny creatures living in your pores are not invaders from somewhere else. For millions of years, they have evolved alongside us, changing as we changed, adapting as we adapted, perhaps becoming so specialized that one day they may no longer survive without human beings at all. You never invited them, you never noticed them, and yet, you've spent almost every night of your life together. The next time you look in the mirror, you'll still see your own face, but now you'll know that an entire hidden world is looking back with you. Tell me in the comments, had you ever heard of Demodex before today? Or was this the first time you realized that your skin has never truly been yours alone? Subscribe to Hidden Nature, because the most extraordinary part of nature isn't always in a distant forest or at the bottom of the ocean. Sometimes it's already a part of you.